I have occupied the Twitterverse far and wide, and its retarded half-cousin Tumblr as well, to bring you yet another episode of War of the Queers, because I hate myself, and I want all of us to suffer together. No. You have been warned. Let the demonetization process begin! In the last episode, we discussed the propensity of volatility in the LGBT community at lesbians who are strict vegetarians, and thus exclude trans women from their sexy time fun. This week, we're doing a complete 180 and looking at people who exclude everyone from their sexy time funs and or their dating pools. That's right, kids. This week we're discussing asexuals and aromantics and how much the LGBT plus community absolutely loathes them. So for those of you unfamiliar with the terminology we're going to be using in this video, I will provide a glossary of sorts up front for you. An asexual is someone who doesn't have any sexual attraction to anyone. So not straight, but also not gay, but also not lesbian, but also not whatever, pick your fancy word. They're not a faggot. Get it? Got it. Good. But they're also not whatever the hell the slur is for straight people. Heteros? I don't fucking know. Another term for them is called ace. So whenever I say ace, know that I'm referring to an asexual. Now, an aromantic is someone who doesn't have romantic attractions. So not hetero-romantic necessarily. And also not homo-romantic. I'm a little bit baffled on what that entails exactly, but they're referred to as aro. So whenever I say aro, that's what I'm talking about. Now, you can either be only one, or you can be both, or you can be neither, such as the prevalence of identities that you can collect them all, like Ash from Pokemon, or you can live alone in a room in the dark, uninterested in it except for your own entertainment and pleasure. Moving on. There is a difference, I guess. One is something that has to do with physical relations. The other is more emotional relations. I'm not sure how the emotional one differs from friendships, but I'm told that there is one. I guess. Just take my word for it. That's what I'm doing right now. Other important terminology that you should know throughout the duration of this video is cishet, which is a colloquial term, shorthand for cis-sexual/cisgender and heterosexual. Cis-sexual or cisgender, of course, refers to that of the identity of the gender that you were assigned at birth being normal. And hetero obviously means straight. Got it? Good. I know we're all learning so many new things this fine evening. Bear with me, please and thank you. So, what's the issue? What does the LGBTQRSLMNOP community have against aces and aros? Why do they hate them so much? If they're meant to be a safe haven for all people who identify as some level of non-normative, non-conforming members of society within the sexual romantic fields of life. After all, we all live on a spectrum, don't we? That's what the popular consensus was, at least to me, before I accidentally jumped headfirst down the rabbit hole a few weeks ago. As I said, the LGBT plus community is not unified in the slightest. There is discourse within, and by gosh diddly, there is discourse within. It is vitriolic, and in fact, by their own standards, quite bigoted. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. Hey, just a friendly reminder, since I've largely retired from discourse, but since it's Pride Month and people still don't understand this, if you're ace and not gay, bi, non-cis, you're a joke. You don't deserve to be anywhere near LGBT spaces, not even as an ally, given your community's track record. You're a vile mongrel of a human, and you don't deserve my faggot-ass support. I hate you and hope nothing but bad things happen to you. Smiley face. If you're LGBT and aren't happy with my opinion on this for how blunt and violent it is, that's chill. I'm sorry, but also won't change this post or my mind. If you're cishet, ace, or otherwise, you have no room to criticize this opinion/post and can unfollow me for it if you want. Aces aren't LGBT. LGBT aces are still barely LGBT due to their willful connection with this farcical community. Aces, or not, never have been and never will be oppressed, and therefore have no place in our community and are not deserving of a single day of pride, let alone a month. That is a mighty hard-hitting, friendly reminder, my dudes. I cannot wrap my head around the concept of barring a certain group of minority members of society from a community because of their identity not being oppressed. Can someone explain this to me? I am but a lowly, ignorant, cishet hetero-romantic, so I obviously know nothing. Cishet asexuals are straight. You know, this reminds me of those religious people who say that atheism is a religion. Like, I'm sorry, but no. The lack of sexuality does not automatically make you the default sexuality of straight. Guys, come on, it should be simple, you would think, but it's, I guess, not. Whatever. If you're not losing jobs or being kicked out or unable to walk down the street comfortably or exist in certain countries based on your sexuality, you're not oppressed, you're not queer. Heart. Where are my bagpipes? Ah, there they are. So, obviously, we have the argument that they don't belong because they're not oppressed, and yet. Anyways, asexuals and aromantics are marginalized in society, but they're not LGBT, because being cishet is not mutually exclusive with being ace-aro, hence not making them queer, hence not making them LGBT for being ace-aro. I don't know how it's so hard to understand that cishet does not equal LGBT. Yet they are oppressed. They just don't count as being included in your super exclusive safe space dedicated to oppressed, non-conforming members of society because they're the wrong form of oppressed, according to you. Reminder that asexuals and aromantics are not queer. You can be a cishet and be those. Y'all are lucky we let you in the LGBT. Y'all are on thin fucking ice. One misstep, and you're gone for real, my dudes. You hear that, kids? Your membership into this club is exclusively probationary, and that is all. One screw up, and you can kiss your inclusion and diversity goodbye. So, cishets. We've heard that term a couple times. I wonder, tell me, what does the LGBT community really think of cishets? What, at their very core, is their opinion of the cishet community? And more importantly, why is it that they don't want them around? Rant, I just went out to buy some groceries and it was freezing, yet this beautiful pregnant woman was walking wearing a tiny skirt on that barely covered her belly. I could see her belly button piercing and everything. Like, we get it. You're cis and you have a working uterus and got knocked up. We get it. Do you have to show it off that much? Do you have to be a literal walking trigger? Jesus. Okay, so first reason, cishets are triggering. Interesting. We have that kind of power on people. I hate cishet black men and cishet white women equally because I'm convinced the only reason they're ever into social justice is because they want the same privileges as white men, not because they want to dismantle the entire system because it's wrong. You cannot and will not change my mind. Okay, so reason 2, secretly, cishet minorities just want to be white men. That's a big no-no, obviously, because white men are the final boss of the cishets. You ever meet grown-ass cishet women still invested in being cool with the guys? And you're like, what is it about male friendship and being in the inner male group that makes you so validated? Okay, so reason 3, because they want to be validated by males. Interesting. It's fucked up to me that female on female relationships are more common in comics than male on male, because the perceived main readership is cishet dudes to whom that is more palatable. But male on male relationships are more popular in novels because the perceived main readership is cishet women because same. Okay, so reason 4 is because representation of minorities is pleasing to cishets in any way. How dare they enjoy minority representation? That's only for minorities to enjoy. Except they forget that the majority is the one who is going to determine what the market wishes. And thus, without the majority on your side, guess who doesn't get representation in media? It's a two-way street, I hope you know that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. There's a special place in hell for cishet women who sexualize gay men. Okay, so reason 5 is cishets sexualize gay men. Lately, I've been limiting the amount of cishet women in my life. I used to confuse being fetishized with acceptance. Not anymore. Cishet people fetishize non-cishets, I guess. I'm gonna have to ask my fellow cishets if that's the truth. Cishet women understand consent until they want to kiss their lesbian friends. Okay, so final reason. Cishets may not be as cishet as they think that they are. Interesting that you have a problem with potentially cishet women attempting to figure out their cishetedness. Cis. Call me when that works out for you, please. Okay, so obviously all of that makes complete sense. Now, let's right quick apply all of those reasons. Yes, even the ones where the cishets are committing harm by thinking sexual things to asexuals and aromantics, to the following. I don't think anyone is trying to invalid asexuality, but I do understand some are taking it too far. Asexuals aren't a part of the LGBT plus community if they're cishet. The problem is aces claiming they're LGBT when they're cis and don't experience same-sex attraction. I hope I didn't. Okay, so we need to clarify something here, everybody. You can't be ace and cishet, because that is the literal definition of what an oxymoron is. These two things, they are non-compatible terms. I mean, I could kind of see the whole aromantic heterosexuality thing being given a little wiggle room with this logic, but honestly, I don't care enough to actually suss it out in my head. I'm not in the LGBT community, so frankly, I don't care beyond its entertainment value for me and for you in this channel. You see, after the filming of this, I will turn off my camera, edit it, upload it, and never worry about it again. Because this isn't my fight. But it's goddamn entertaining. Bi, pan, romantic asexuals are allowed in the LGBT plus community. I think it's just hetero-romantic aces that aren't allowed. What's with the ugly-ass ace flag that's always taken the place of the lesbian flag, when they aren't even a part of the LGBT community? Friendly reminder for Pride Month, cishet aces aren't LGBT. Lord have mercy. Just because you don't have sexual feelings doesn't mean you're LGBT. If you're gay and ace, you're LGBT because you're gay. Asexuals never go through what the LGBT community has gone through. As much as I understand asexuals wanting to feel welcome in the LGBT community, please don't say that het aces aren't straight. By implication, you're erasing the orientation of gay, bi, and pan aces. As SGA folk, we've had more than enough of that from society already. On the same note, if you're a het ace, please think carefully about your unconscious biases against the people in this community when joining our safe spaces. I've been too much homophobia from the ace community, and it's your job to make it clear that it's totally unwelcome. Oh, that's right, didn't you know? Aces are homophobic too now. Take a look at this hot take, why don't ya? It's not harmless when asexual homophobes are attending Pride only to complain about same-sex PDA. Now, to be frank, I think that they would complain about PDA regardless of the orientation of the couple engaging in it, but you know, that's just logic playing itself out. I said nothing about if they're homophobic. Obviously, that's a different story. I'm talking about people who just want to celebrate their non-stereotypical sexuality and aren't trying to outdo anyone else or claim that they're more oppressed than LGBT folk. Also, it's not about how you love, it's about who. I'm all for asexual people at Pride as long as they're also LGB or T. It's not about how you love, it's about who. Yet, T is included in that as in trans. Arguably, wouldn't trans people have less to do with the LGBT community than aces or Aros by your own logic? After all, their whole shtick is not necessarily about love and sex, it's about body dysmorphia, correct? Their own, actually. The only connection here is in genitals. Oh my god. I mean, I see obviously how you wouldn't feel cishet aces belonged at a Pride event, but I'm just confused about where the homophobia came from. You said aces belong at Pride without specifying which ones. I brought up the point that not all of them do. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm straight, but I've always not included cishet asexuals as part of the LGBT community because they're still attracted to the opposite sex only. Is this accurate? I've been seeing a lot of ace inclusion tweets lately. What? Because they're attracted to the opposite sex only. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this. 1, how do you blanket like that? 2, how can you be so dense? 3, honestly, how? I don't understand. How? How is it in your mind that a lack of attraction equals different sex attraction? I don't even have a dog in this fight, and I know that. And the fact that you don't get that actually pisses me off. I'm baffled. Nope, they're not. Asexuals are valid and deserve to be known, and ace inclusion should happen, but when cishet aces, who are not part of the community, try to overshadow lesbians and queer people, it's highly degrading and gross. Okay, this is exactly what I thought. I agree that they're valid and deserve inclusion in the media, but cishet aces don't receive discrimination, really, because they just don't want to have sexual intimacy with people. That doesn't make people shame them like it does with LGBT people. So apparently everyone has the exact same experience as everyone else in their specific identities, but no identities' experiences are equal in validity, I guess. How's about them apples for you guys? Asexuals are not queer. Just stop trying to be oppressed. How does one try to be oppressed? Just help me wrap my mind around this. Does being LGBT automatically mean that the individual has experienced oppression in their lives? Because honestly, I would kill to be as oppressed as Neil Patrick Harris and or Ellen DeGeneres are right now. Please and thank you. Can we make this happen? Asexuals are not LGBT because they will never experience the oppression that actual queer people do on a regular basis just for not liking sex. Did you get that, guys? It's a dick measuring contest of whose oppression schlong is bigger and better. It's mine, obviously. Check my Twitter bio for proof if you don't believe me. Cishets aren't LGBT, and that's just a fact. We're not saying you guys are invalid or whatever. We're just pointing out that letting oppressors into our safe spaces is dangerous for us. How are aces and arrows the oppressors if they're a minority? By your definition alone, that should preclude them from being oppressors in any form of the sense of being God, mother Jeebus. Someone please explain. Help me understand. My ability to do such advanced levels of mental gymnastics are extremely limited. You should know. Last but not least, let's look at those death wishes, because those are always a fun time for everybody. Hey aces, you're all snotty little homophobic brats, and I hope you die alone. I mean, it's not like you'll be unhappy, right? You're used to feeling unloved and unwanted, or at least I hope so. Oh, oops, sorry, I forgot to censor love. Wouldn't want to hurt your whittle ace feelings, XO. You're wrong, OP. Aces don't deserve a community. They deserve to die alone and burn in hell for what they've done. Asexuals don't deserve representation. You deserve a knife in the neck. And that's all the hot takes that I have for you from random, angry, bitter panty bunchers on the internet. But I will say, you will have one last take from a not-so-random, angry, bitter panty buncher on the internet. Me. I'm gonna tell you all of the aces and the arrows that happen to be watching me for whatever strange reasons, that even though we may not agree on the importance of identity labels in the same way, that it shouldn't matter. I'm gonna say the same thing I said to the other lesbians in the other video. Do whatever the hell makes you happy. Whatever the hell you wanna. So long as it doesn't hurt anyone, you're doing alright. Now, if you like this video, you like what I'm doing on this channel, please consider checking out the links in the description to my Amazon, Teespring, and Patreon in the description, down below. Yeah. Now, if you like my stuff, but not necessarily that much, that's totally cool too. You can always like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Don't forget to click that bell and give the middle finger to our Google oppressive overlords. Peace!